Welcome and thank you for joining today's exciting virtual event to celebrate the closing of the first ever WIFIA loan in the state of Michigan to the Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority in Wayne County. I'm Rashida Fox, the Acting Assistant Administrator for EPA's Office of Water, and I'm your host for today's virtual event. We have an amazing lineup of national, state, and local leaders speaking with us today, including EPA Administrator Michael Regan, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, U.S. Representative Rashida Tlaib, City of Southgate Mayor Joseph Kuspa, Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority System Manager Vyto Kaunelis. So you're going to hear in just a minute about the exciting infrastructure project. But for me, today's announcement really highlights the power of partnership. It shines a bright light on how local, state, and federal partners can come together to close America's water investment gap and to build communities of opportunity for all. On that note, it's my honor to turn it over to our first speaker, my boss, and EPA's fearless leader, Administrator Michael Regan.
Thank you, Rashida. And thank you to Governor Whitmer, Senator Stabenow, Representatives Tlaib and Dingell, our local partners from Southgate, Michigan, and the Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority for joining us today. Your participation in today's event shows the power of WIFIA and our federal, state, and local partnerships. So I'm thrilled to join you today to announce EPA's first WIFIA loan to the state of Michigan, $18 million to the Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority in Wayne County. This loan will help finance critical upgrades to the second largest wastewater system in the state of Michigan, serving 13 communities and 350,000 people in the Detroit metro area. The project will upgrade the facility's biosolids handling to reduce landfilling, lowering the system's operational costs by roughly $1.8 million per year, along with other critical repairs. Downriver's WIFIA loan saved the utility an estimated $5 million and expedited their project timeline, reducing costs sooner than expected. EPA is working hard to improve and upgrade our nation's drinking water and wastewater infrastructure while closing the water equity gap and addressing the climate crisis that disproportionately harms communities of color. We're committed to ensuring that all people, no matter how much money they have in their pockets, the color of their skin, or the zip codes that they live in, have access to clean, safe, affordable water. For downriver communities, EPA's WIFIA loan means stronger public health and environmental protections alongside significant cost savings for residents, including in small and disadvantaged cities where affordability is paramount. With Downriver's loan closing, we've now announced 46 WIFIA loans totaling more than $9 billion in credit assistance to help finance over $19 billion for water infrastructure projects while creating more than 47,000 jobs. So we look forward to announcing the next round of WIFIA and State Infrastructure Financing Authority funding soon. Thank you all.
Thank you, Administrator Regan, for your remarks. Now I'm going to turn it over to one of the great governors and a great water champion, Governor Whitmer from Michigan.
So Administrator Regan, thank you so much for making this a priority in the Biden administration, and certainly Acting Assistant Administrator Rashida Fox. We're glad and so grateful for this. I'm honored to be here as we announce a critical investment in Wayne County's water infrastructure and continue to build back better in Michigan. Just a few weeks ago, Administrator Regan and I spoke about the urgency for infrastructure investment, closing the water equity gap, and creating good paying jobs. We're here to announce $18 million loan to the Wayne County Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority by the EPA under the Water Infrastructure Finance and Innovation Act, or WIFIA. We are also here to affirm our commitment to ensuring that all Michiganders have access to clean, safe drinking water, and talk about how investments in resilient infrastructure can create good paying jobs too. We're so thrilled that Michigan was selected as one of the early sites in this administration for investment under WIFIA. Today's project will serve 13 communities in southeastern Michigan, including Ecorse and River Rouge. The $18 million loan will help the Wayne County Utility firm upgrades to their systems, improve operations, lower costs, and these will save millions of dollars and help working families in the 13 communities continue to ensure that we continue receiving quality service without raising rates. This partnership between the EPA and the Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority shows how investments in infrastructure can uplift working families and disadvantaged communities, create good paying jobs, lower bills for working families, and protect our environment. As with so many things, there's no false choice to be had here. We can and we will do all of these things. The Biden administration and all of us here in Michigan share an enthusiasm for federal infrastructure investment and the Build Back Better agenda. But I'm also proud of the work that we're doing at the state level to improve our water infrastructure. The infrastructure challenges we face are vast, and they cannot be tackled by any one of us alone. It'll take us all working together at every level to get this done for Michigan and for the country. In the state budget, I just proposed last month, I proposed a $290 million for the Michigan Clean Water Plan to go towards critical water infrastructure, similar to today's site, and to support thousands of good paying jobs along the way. I'm so grateful once again to Administrator Regan, Acting Assistant Administrator Fox, Senator Stabenow, Senator Peters, Representative Dingell, Representative Tlaib, Mayor Cuspa, and the System Manager of Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority, Vyto Kaunelis, for your presence, for your hard work, and for getting this done. And now I'd like to turn it over to Senator Stabenow from our great state.
Well, good afternoon. I apologize. I think the video is not coming up here. I'm watching everyone, but I think I'm going to just be on the phone. Can you hear me okay?
We can. Thank you for joining us, Senator.
Absolutely. Wonderful technical difficulties here at the Capitol, but I had to be involved to welcome our great new Administrator Michael Regan. It was wonderful to support you for your position and to have the good news of what's being announced today in Michigan. And of course, always great to be with our governor and great Congresswomen Dingell and Tlaib. And I just wanted to add my support for what's happening and just reinforce the fact that water infrastructure isn't just about drains and pipes. As we know, it's fundamentally about people, and it's about making sure that all of our families have safe, affordable water to drink, to cook with, to keep clean with during a pandemic. And this announcement is great news for downriver communities, and it couldn't be a better time. So we all know, in fact, the challenges we're facing. In 2019 alone, water systems in 12 Michigan counties, including Wayne County, discharged more than 3 billion gallons of untreated or partially treated water during storms. And unfortunately, that's enough dirty water to fill more than 4,500 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Not that we would ever want to do that. So, but that is a lot of wastewater. So preventing problems like that requires sustained investment, as we all know, in our wastewater infrastructure. So this $18 million WIFIA loan will help the Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority make necessary upgrades to operate smoothly and efficiently. So very important, and it will prevent the downriver families from facing much higher water bills in order to pay for it. So this is a great example of the reason that we launched the program back in 2014. And I want to add some more good news, because I just a little while ago left an Environment and Public Works Committee meeting where we reported out of committee unanimously a Drinking Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Act that will now be going to the floor of the Senate. So it reauthorizes WIFIA for another 5 years, which is really great news for everyone. So again, congratulations. And I think this project shows that when we work with the Biden administration. They say we're going to build back better. It means we're going to build back better for everyone. So great news, great day. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Senator Stabenow, for just your tremendous leadership on water issues and for persevering through the technical difficulties to join us this afternoon. Now I'm going to turn it over to Representative Debbie Dingell from Michigan District 12. Welcome. Representative Dingell, are you on the line? Okay, well, while we are waiting to see if the representative is with us, I know we're having a little technical difficulty. Let me invite U.S. Representative Rashida Tlaib to make some remarks.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you to the incredible leadership of not only our delegation, our governor, but to the new administrator of the EPA. As you all know, I represent a very challenged, what I would call frontline communities in the 13th Congressional District. So I know my downriver communities of cities of Ecorse, River Rouge, and so many others are really grateful for this opportunity. I know also after 4 years of the White House directing the EPA to abandon our communities to protect them from corporate polluters, it is now extremely refreshing to see the EPA now finally reverting and investing in our people again, and I appreciate President Biden's leadership on that. I have been working for years alongside grassroots water activists, people who go door to door to their neighbors, sharing resources, people who organize bottled water distribution to people who had their water shut off for over the last decade. And the number one thing I hear from water warriors in my community is that we need to become much more serious in our commitment to water affordability. And this is how we do it. When you look at the folks who can't afford to make water payments, it's not because they don't want to, it's because they simply can't afford it. So part of the water affordability process is on the rate side. And I hope my colleagues will continue to support efforts to make water more affordable, like the Emergency Water as a Human Right Act and examining income-based rates. But another part of that, of the water affordability process, is the infrastructure investment. I hear so often of leaky plumbing, pipes, contaminated water are making people's bills unaffordable for water they didn't even use. So I'm excited today to join all of you to see the substantial investment in our commitment to the Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority. By upgrading this system, we will help reduce operating costs, allowing the Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority to pass those savings on to our families, to our neighbors who need this relief right now. And so thank you again to the leadership at EPA for showing up for our downriver communities. And I hope and trust you'll continue to not only repair the damage of the previous administration, but go further to make the Biden EPA the most progressive and proactive in the nation's history. And now I'll turn it back to our Acting Assistant Administrator Fox. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Tlaib, and you can count on us to be committed to rebuilding the local, state, and federal partnerships so that all communities have safe and healthy water. Now it's my honor to introduce the Mayor of Southgate, Joseph Kuspa. Mayor?
Hi, good, glad to be here. Hello, everyone. I'd like to mention that our DUWA chairman is Mayor Gail McLeod from Allen Park, was not able to attend today's meeting, and City of Southgate holds the position of vice chair. So I'm extremely honored to represent the DUWA board and be part of this distinguished roundtable presentation. Although the Downriver sewage system has been operating since 1939, the DUWA organization representing the 13 downriver communities only started managing the system in 2018. The Downriver Wastewater Treatment Facility is the second largest in the state of Michigan, supporting over 350,000 residential, commercial, and industrial users, including a majority portion of Detroit Metropolitan Airport. The DUWA Board of Directors, made up of representatives of each of the cities, has embraced the need to proactively address our aging infrastructure and long-term sustainability while maintaining reasonable sewer rates that promote strong economic development. Our overall goal in taking over the system was to work collectively to improve the integrity and reliability of our system while remaining rate neutral. That's to say that to identify management processes and cost efficiencies that will help fund the needed repairs and improvements whenever necessary, and ultimately not to require to raise rates to the residents we serve. The WIFIA loan will meet that objective in several ways. By allowing our organization to make these investments at a financing rate that is far less than other traditional funding sources, that will save the system an estimated $5 million. Once implemented, these projects will also improve our biosolids handling and reduce operational costs by over $1.8 million annually. These savings will vastly improve our system reliability and help to maintain affordable wastewater services and avoid potential rate hikes. So on behalf of the 13 communities representing the DUWA system, I would like to thank EPA Director Regan and his staff for acknowledging our need and providing assistance in the WIFIA loan program. To our elected federal representatives on this conference call, Senator Stabenow and Representatives Dingell and Tlaib, thank you to you and your colleagues for providing the funding to support the WIFIA loan program. To our Governor Gretchen Whitmer, thank you for supporting our efforts to modernize the second largest wastewater treatment system in the state of Michigan and the quality jobs that will result from these improvements. And to our administrative team, I'd also like to thank you for working through the comprehensive loan process. Together, the collective efforts will provide major improvements to our wastewater infrastructure, meet the goals of the WIFIA Act, provide stable rates to our consumers, and ultimately provide a cleaner and healthier environment for all of our constituencies. Thanks again to all who had a part in this process of awarding the loan. It's greatly appreciated and will be used wisely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We really appreciate your remarks. And now we will hear from Representative Debbie Dingell from the 12th District of Michigan.
Thank you, Deputy Administrator Fox. Can you hear me this time?
Yes, we can. Thank you for persevering through the technical incident and joining us.
Well, quite frankly, it's a wonderful moment for me, and in many ways, following Mayor Cuspa is a good thing because he and my many mayors downriver have been working this issue for a number of years, and this is a major win for the downrivers today. I want to thank Administrator Regan for being on and making this one of the first projects he's announcing, the governor for listening to me all of the time and helping do this, Senator Stabenow and Rashida and I. Water is just something that's very, very, very important to both of us. I thank everybody for their partnership as this funding for the downrivers was secured. In Michigan, we know water. We know how essential clean water is to our families and our environment. And tragically, we know how traumatic it is when our water infrastructure is neglected and ignored. To be frank, we know that water is a human right and it needs to be treated as such. With this loan funding, we're going to be able to modernize our wastewater infrastructure and help protect our communities. Investing in our water infrastructure will help keep our environment safe and healthy. It's going to bring clean, reliable, affordable water into our homes and businesses and treat our sewer systems in a much better way. It's been a major issue for a while. And by doing this, we're hopefully going to reduce the cost to people, but we'll also lower the need to dispose of waste, and we will modernize our wastewater system. And to me, that's one of the most important things we can do with these federal funds. We need to bring environmental justice to communities that have long been ignored or outright targeted by our government policies. And with this administration now and having a Democratic House and Senate, we can right some of the wrongs of our past with policies and these kinds of public investments. Too many communities in the Downriver region have been forced to confront immense industrial pollution that jeopardizes the health of generations of workers, children, and families. It's a lot of hard work. My mayors have, all of our mayors and the mayors of Ecorse and Rashida and I share the downrivers, and we love the downrivers. This isn't going to happen overnight, but I promise the communities in the downriver, all of us are going to keep fighting so that we do get major progress like this today. Thank you again for your support of this major project.
Thank you so much, Representative Dingell, for joining us and for really your leadership in helping make this investment happen. So our last speaker, I'm just thrilled to announce, because before joining the EPA, I worked at a local water utility in San Francisco. And so I know how important it is, the work of water and wastewater managers who are running these systems. And so I'd love to introduce now Vyto, who is the Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority Manager. Vyto?
Thank you very much. It's very proud to be here with this distinguished panel, and I'd just like to echo the gratitude that we have for this loan and for this whole process. And let me just, I'll provide a little bit more insight about some of the projects that we're undertaking as part of this loan. As Mayor Cuspa indicated, shortly after taking over the system back in 2018, we experienced a problem with landfill costs for our biosolids going up significantly, which was causing problems with our budget. What we found, we quickly looked at some different alternatives on how to approach it, and what we found was that adding biosolids dryers would be the best way to approach this. Unfortunately, with the landfill costs, the schedule was very critical, and that's one of the things that was really great with the WIFIA program. We were able to identify our solution in April of 2019, and in July, we submitted a letter of intent to EPA for a WIFIA loan application, and we were notified in October that we were successful in applying, and that we could go ahead then and work out the terms of the arrangement. One of the real critical components of this program is that it allowed us to continue doing the work. We could start the project, we could start design, and all those costs would be reimbursable as part of the loan. So that has allowed us to move very quickly on the schedule for this. Our biosolids, we'll be converting it to a Class A biosolids through the dryer facility, which will be able to provide beneficial reuse rather than just landfilling. We could then provide beneficial reuse with those biosolids, making that into a resource rather than a waste product. The other parts of the project that we're really proud of, as people mentioned, there's a lot of deferred maintenance that occurred in the past. And so we're catching up on a lot of the things that infrastructure needs that have grown over the years. For example, we have a particular sewer project in Alkali Street in Wyandotte, where it's an old brick sewer that was crumbling, and we were worried about the structural integrity of that line. We're currently in the process of putting a liner in that pipe to ensure its integrity for a long period of time to come. A number of projects at our wastewater treatment facility as well. We did some major testing of electrical equipment and upgrading of that equipment, as well as various equipment replacements, for example, pump replacements, heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems, water line failures that we were experiencing, and so forth. So a number of various infrastructure problems that we've been able to tackle through this. And the interest rate that we received is a very favorable interest rate. It's under 2%, and a term of our loan, it really the final payment is 36 years. So this provides us that affordability that really will help, as everybody indicated. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vyto, and again, congratulations. So to close this exciting event out, I just want to note that the best is yet to come. I know I can't wait to come visit the Downriver community once this project is up, and to really see firsthand all the benefits to local communities that will be realized. As for the WIFIA program moving forward, please stay tuned because in a couple of weeks, the EPA will be announcing the next round of WIFIA and SWIFIA funding. Again, thank you to all of our esteemed speakers for their leadership on water issues and for joining us this afternoon. And for any press questions, you can direct those questions to press@epa.gov. So thank you all again and have a wonderful day.